What do you want?
All I've ever wanted. The right ruler on the Iron Throne.
I don't be fair.
You hear the bells ring, they've surrendered. Call off your men.
Yeah. That's you. That's what you've always been.
Hello to all the geek enthusiasts, nerd aficionados, and fans that are sticking around with Game of Thrones for the last episode next week, maybe? There's going to be a lot of people. I'm curious.
I mean, can you quit at this point? I don't think you...
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of resolve that people got. This is the Game of Thrones TV Talks live reaction podcast here on Twitch, where we talk about the episode that happened tonight, give our thoughts, theories, and whatever else we can come up with in terms of talking about this thing, jokes, whatnot. But this is a spoiler cast. So if you have not watched the episode yet, please make sure that you watch the episode first if you don't want to be spoiled, because we're going to talk about everything on the episode. I am S5150, your host on this cast. And this is brought to you by the website malice-corp.com, as well as you can check us out there. And if you want to listen to any of our podcasts, check out Stitcher, check out Spotify, check out iTunes, anywhere that you listen to all things nerd, Malice Smack Talk, or the TV Talks. Those are all going to be available over there. Make sure that you subscribe and you drop reviews when you're listening to them, so that other people are able to find us as well. And then if you're hearing this later on those, you can join us live for the reaction podcasts on twitch.tv/Malice Corp. Just come on over here, subscribe to the channel, and follow it, and that way you'll know whenever we're going live. So, yeah, thanks, guys. I do want to give one quick apology. The provider that we use to upload all of our podcasts for the audio versions is having some issues right now. I've been trying to upload some stuff for the last 2 days, so if you haven't been able to listen to them, that's because I can't upload them. I'm sent them a thing finding out like what's going on, why can't I upload. So hopefully that gets taken care of soon. So thank you.
Polyfuse is already making just wonderful comments.
Yeah, I predict it will be hard to rule over nothing, and that goes to something that me and a couple of the guys here on the cast talked about earlier this week. Getting started, you have me, Mess5150. Let's talk about who's here on the cast. Roll call. Icy Zoro's here.
As always, I can't not talk about this stuff. If I wasn't on this cast, I'd be just yelling it into a void. So thank you for listening to my garbage.
You'd be drunk.
What do you mean would be?
We also have Aaron here on the cast with us this week.
What's going on, guys? Oh, man.
Malaya08 joins us in the chat room, says hello all, and all I gotta say is wow. Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Yeah.
We also have Mind Freak on the cast.
What's up, everybody? Back again.
Masonic Vader's here.
What's up?
No.
He's going back into the 90s.
What?
We're doing a live reaction to an episode that just ended, and you're going to go all the way back to the 90s. Way to keep it relevant.
Blood. Wise?
Vader, your age is showing.
And lastly, we have Bearded Master on the cast with us tonight, too.
Just like Wednesdays and this last week Thursdays, Masonic Vader leaves me speechless with his out-of-date references.
But that beard is still better than anything Big Papa Matt's ever put up.
He's still got a glorious beard.
I mean, it's not a bad one. I'm just saying.
And then my screen takes over with this mangy thing that you have on his chin. Yeah, so let's get off the beards. The thing with the episodes, we never find out what the names are until right before we start casting. So I always go and look to find out what it is. If you guys didn't cheat and find out what it is,
I did not cheat.
I always want to get those guesses as to what you think this episode was called. This was episode 72, season 8, episode 5. I'm gonna go right down the line what's showing on my screen. So Aaron, what did you think tonight's episode was called?
Oh God. In keeping with the way that it's been going, last week it was The Last of the Starks. So I'm guessing that it's either going to be an homage to that, in calling it like the first Targaryen or something, or the rise of the Targaryen, or it's just going to be flat out what she called it
Like
at the
Rise of
beginning
the
of the.
Skywalker.
So you're just gonna give all. You're gonna give all the thought. Like, I'm gonna say every line in the episode. It's one of these.
I'll have the perfect one.
But I think I think I'm going to go with it. It's just the last war. That's what this was.
Okay, the Great War.
This was the last war for them.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Mind Freak? What do you think? Or did you cheat? Because I know you're the one
No,
that was.
I didn't cheat this week. Well, considering the movie that just came out, my first thought was, like halfway through the episode, like Charizard's flamethrower. But no, I'm going to go with the Mad Queen, homage to her father.
That's a good one. What about you, Icy Zorro?
I'm gonna go with the "We didn't start the fire," but you did.
And now we're going even further than the 90s.
Billy Joel reference, old school. That's from Stormfront in 1994, I believe.
Oh, maybe it was 90s. Yeah, that was. Okay. What about you, Masonic? What do you think the episode was called?
Who's got the marshmallows?
S'mores for everyone.
And lastly, Bearded Master, what do you think?
S'mores are everyone.
What do you think, Bearded Master?
Well, they reference the bell towers a lot, so I'm going with Sanctuary. Sanctuary!
God, you were so close. I'll give you guys a hint.
If you arrive, you survive.
What do you think the name was?
The Bells? No.
It was the Bells.
Damn it. Was it really
so
called
close!
The Bells?
You were so close. It was the Bells.
No.
So, yeah, that's the episode.
That's a lame ass title.
What's that mean?
Gosh.
You were on the verge of greatness or something?
Extra crispy.
And Polyfuse is
Heavy
giving us
side.
the entire the roof is on fire, we don't need no water, let the mother effer burn in the chat room. Okay, so what we do is we go scene by scene here. We talk about reactions, thoughts, what happened and stuff like that. So the episode opened up with Varys writing a note for the birds. So we know he still has his network because we questioned that last week. Did he have his network? He definitely has it. He actually has, what's her name? Megan? I think was the little girl's name.
Well, if you're going to have a network of little girls spying for you, Megan's going to be one of them. Yeah.
And he's clearly writing the story of Jon and that he is, a Targaryen and to give to her. And while this is all going on, he tells her that the greater the challenge, the better the reward, basically.
Yeah, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So we get to Jon joining up on the beachfront with Dany, and Varys comes up to him, and Varys tries to sway Jon that, like, hey, take the lead, And Jon straight says he doesn't want the lead. I mean, what do you guys think so far with what we're getting with Varys? Any thoughts that was going through your head?
Well, yeah. I mean, considering they started with him writing letters, I mean, that's not going to be forgotten. And since we already know, I mean, it's very apparent that he has his network already still intact, that they're setting up something for the next. I'm hoping that he's writing all the lords of the land saying, hey, guess what? This crazy woman isn't the only option that you guys have for bending the knee to. So
that's exactly what he was saying. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm hoping that it pays off in spades for him, considering what happens next.
Well, yeah, and then and we see then in a later scene what kind of happened to those letters. But I feel like this is just a glimpse. He's already got his birds flying around prior to that scene happening. So that message is already floating around.
Yeah, no, I mean, the guy died, and we knew he was going to die at some point. But good Lord, he's still just stirring the pot even as he dies. I love Varys.
Well, not even before he dies. I mean, even after he dies, now knowing that his network is still up, and like who knows how many of those messages he sent out. So it's all those
ballpark 30-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 30-ish. We got an over under on that.
That's basically the over-under. Yeah, 31.5 is the over-under.
I feel sorry for the one group that didn't get that last one, so they're going to be out of the know. You know, they're going to be going around. Hey, let's go see the Dragon Queen. Hey, oh, okay.
A couple notes on from the chat room from things we were saying before. Malaya says it should have been called Well Done or Crispy. And Polyfuse says King's Landing from now on will be known as Pompeii. So
yeah, there was probably one dude just laying there like, look at him dying.
Yeah, exactly. So Tyrion goes and visits with Dany to tell her what's going on with Varys because he's spying on Varys, seeing Varys talking to Jon. He knows what's up. He knows what's going on. And I love that. So Tyrion tells her that there's someone that's betrayed her, and her first inclination is Jon Snow. She doesn't.
Right, like my nephew that I've been boning. Is that the guy that turned on me? No.
No.
Oh,
Not
the Master
boning.
of Secrets. Sure.
More like my nephew who I'm trying to bone. And is
they have boned several times. You know that.
They've tried a few times, but now no longer. So now it's like I'm chasing him. She's chasing him now.
Well, yeah, not at this point, but they have definitely.
No, they definitely have.
Yeah, and there's a lot of basically her throwing her weight around now at this point, where it's just like fear mongering.
Well, which is why the Mad Queen would have been an appropriate title.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love how Tyrion just throws Varys straight under the bus. she says,
and backs it up on him.
Somebody has betrayed me. He's like, yeah, Varys, check that guy out. He's telling all your secrets.
Well, because he's still trying to show that he supports Dany.
And he's loyal.
He's still trying to sway her to do the right thing. You know, and she looks like the most haggard that I've ever seen Dany look. Like she's like
intentionally, I would think, yeah.
Barden, she's going straight up. What's his name that created the Spruce Goose and everything up in her tower.
Hughes?
Yeah,
Hughes.
She's going Howard Hughes up in that tower.
Oh yeah, no, Dany definitely has jugs of piss sitting around somewhere.
Yeah, the messed up part is that you've got Tyrion telling her everything, and then she's going back and like, well, it's all because of you, because of blah 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 blah, and that's where, you start seeing it fracture. I mean, you kind of see it before, but that was the big split. Definitely losing.
No, we've seen it a little bit, but this, like I said, this episode should have been called the Mad Queen. This is the episode where we fully lose Dany as a good ruler.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Who's that?
You saw the mental break happening as soon as they killed Miss Sandy in the last episode. I mean, you saw that look on her face.
Miss Sandy.
Considering how many people she's lost, or how many people have turned on her, or have supposedly turned on her that she believed to have turned on her.
Yeah.
This was a mental fracturing that was just seasons in the works. So
I mean, we're gonna get to it, but Tyrion's face when she starts torching King's Landing,
that's heartbreak on a whole different level.
Yeah. So my new vote for the Iron Throne is Tyrion. Yeah.
I'm sticking with my vote. Who's gonna end up being on it? So
John's still not a bad choice, but Tyrion I think is the better.
I think after this episode, Jon just put his name back into the running for that throne.
Hey, we're going forward there. Hold on a sec. Let's keep going on.
Yeah. So, so that's the big thing with Dany.
I bet she's moody because Jon knocked her up. Nah, dude, come on. Let's not play with hormones that way.
But the big thing with this is what Cersei has always preached about playing the game, and that's trust no one. And Dany's finally going to that side where she's like trusting no one. So we get over to Varys. Varys knows what's coming, and he gets prepared for it because here comes Grey Worm arresting him. Varys ditches his ring. So what was up with the ring?
All of them.
Well, he did. He took all of them off. He took
everything
off and put it in the little bowl.
Varys knew he was going to die.
Okay.
Absolutely. He was planning on dying at that point.
Well, I know, but I mean, to show that specific scene of him like doing the rings, are the rings gonna have? Is that like maybe a message with the rings, or I don't know.
I think they just go to his little birds.
Yeah,
Possibly.
they're going to go to people like Megan. They're going to get spread around. I have a feeling that they're going to be proof of his intentions,
His legacy.
What they say. Yeah, so the network is still obviously going to operate after his death. I mean, that's things that he set in motion already are going to keep going, and those rings are probably going to be kind of like a proof of intent, proof of they are actually agents of his instead of just people
proving that they're telling true secrets, not making stuff up to
exactly. So he set up the dominoes, and that was the first domino to fall. And next week we're going to
absolutely agree.
Well, and to go further, we don't know exactly what he wrote in the letters, so he could have put something to do with that into the letter to where somebody will deliver these rings, and then that's going to bring validity to what he was writing and telling them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we saw one of the letters, right? Like one of the letters that we saw him writing was something along the lines of like more valiant or more worthwhile king,
right?
Like.
Mm-hmm.
Writing about the fact that John is the king. Exactly,
and that's like I said, that's been set in motion already, and now either it's going to be the rings are the truth and the validity of what he's written and what the people are spreading, or it's going to be the catalyst. If they bring you these rings, that means I'm dead. That means you guys need to start.
I'm not just sealing the wax with my signet ring. I'm setting the ring because I'm friggin' dead.
Yeah, I know. I'm toasty right now, so please do indulge.
I am a Thor.
Speaking of that toastiness, tell me that wasn't the coolest freaking scene I've seen so far this season, where he's standing there looking into the dark, and out of nowhere a dragon face just pops out of the dark. That was so
you know what that scene told me? That scene told me that whenever I see Dany, she's the most extra girl out there now. Like drama
so
much?
Extra.
I mean, goodness sakes. I mean, I get now it wasn't a coffee cup last week, it was a pumpkin spice latte. Boom.
Jon Snow is literally the only person on the earth that could date that girl.
Right.
I love that everybody on cast has been basically throwing her under the bus of
give me all the buses, I will throw her under most.
Well, no, they've all been like, it was her cup, and she's like, no, it was the producer. Like everybody.
That was actually Jon Snow's cup. Yeah.
And now you're like, well, now we see why they threw her under the bus after this whole ordeal. Amelia Clark's a great person.
Has a huge like Starbucks addiction. It was definitely his cup.
What are you talking about? They showed a picture of her walking around set last week with the damn cup in her hand.
Yeah,
that was Kit Harington's cup.
In other words, they have two different finales, and that was the emergency finale. They broke the damn thing and said, "All right, here's the code. We got to go with it."
Here's the thing. I don't care whose cup it is. You're the biggest show on television. Maybe you don't miss tiny little details.
So all the cups on set look like that cup is what Polyfuse says.
Yeah, if anybody has tea, it's that cup. If anybody has hot chocolate, it's that cup. But that was Kit Harington's cup. Absolutely.
I think I saw a flying DeLorean go past the dragon, too.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, we know it wasn't Danny's cup because it would have been just covered in writing.
Mother of Dragons, Breaker of Chains, first of my name.
There's actually a second cup that's empty, so they can finish it.
Exactly.
So the next scene, we get Varys gets toasty. He's gone.
That brings up a question real quick. That brings up a question to his cup. Do you think whenever she goes to Starbucks, she just blurts all that out just to see if somebody would write it all?
Of course she does.
I would. Yeah,
already
absolutely.
She's the most extra bitch in Westeros.
Well,
hi, I'm gonna be a little bit extra. Can we do like a half calf, half foam, kind of cinnamon? By the way, my name is Daenerys, like Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, blah 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 blah.
Now that's the next question: is her coffee order longer than her name?
It's a good question.
With an ad shot.
And welcome, Chris.
I'm saying a 3 ad shot, honestly.
Welcome, Chrislin58 into the chat room. Says, "Holy shit! I just finished watching that episode, and yeah, that's our reaction as well." on the episode.
We're only like 5 minutes into it, so you haven't missed anything. We're still talking about the show from last week.
We're still just white girling it.
Yeah, and that was the thing with the coffee cup thing too. Amelia like threw the producers, the Americans, under the bus, where she's like, I don't drink that stuff. If any Starbucks or any coffee stuff, it was brought by the Americans. That's the people are. That's literally the wording that she said.
Oh, they're a fantastic show. So thank you for the shout out.
Yeah, and she was at a Houston Rockets game, and the Rockets mascot bent the knee to her. So yeah, it's covering everywhere. Speaking
if I ever see her in life, I will bend the knee.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah. I would too. And then she'll torch you afterwards.
Just saying.
So speaking of which, talking about going into modern day and bringing in everything. So when I do these casts, I'm usually wearing nerd stuff and everything. You see that I'm sporting 49ers things because I'm a 49ers fan. So
you said there was a story. Please tell me.
There's a story. Cameos. Cameos were announced.
Oh, Steve Young, the Mormon.
No, there was the hated one for me that was supposed to be a Lannister soldier, and it ruined the episode in that factor for me because I was doing a Where's Waldo trying to find him, and his lazy eye and his weird freaking brow. Aaron Rodgers is somewhere in this episode.
Oh. Did he just go double check at some point?
Yeah. So, and I'm a Niners fan, so I despise Green Bay. That's why.
Well, I'm a Vikings fan, so I hate them with fiery passion.
I saw that report a couple days ago, and I'm not gonna lie, I contemplated on wearing my number 12 tonight, but I'm like, I didn't see him, so I can't do it. Well, I almost did.
I mean, if you want,
I think a State Farm agent was in there for him.
If you want, I can go up and grab my purple and gold. We'll do that.
Do you want to do this right now?
Put on some Adrian Peterson.
He probably did the jingle.
Grab my belt real quick. Boom.
I just want to see a State Farm agent running through and getting him out of the fire and
boom. Boom.
Oh, God.
Oh no. Oh, I hate you so much. Like I liked you as a person, but now I hate you.
What have I started? Okay. So
good job, Peter. Good job.
So Grey Worm and Danny dwell on Miss Sandy. And they talk about Miss Sandy.
I can't unhear that, by the way. Thanks.
The only thing she brought with her only belonging, the leash from when she was a slave, and Grey Worm quickly throws it in the fire.
It wasn't a leash, it was her collar.
Well,
yeah, no, they were doing outfit stuff.
That was her choker. Come on. Now.
Yeah, no, they were definitely doing outfit stuff, and he was like, I can't find anybody else to do outfit stuff with. I'm gonna burn this.
Yeah. John comes in the room.
So sad.
John comes in the room. Danny does the whenever I get a customer walking into my store that doesn't want me to know what they're saying and starts talking in Valarian so that he can't hear what she has to say. And then we get what's tried for pity sex, but then John can't pull the trigger, and that just creates an even bigger.
Right, he's so bad at being hit on.
I don't. That wasn't an attempt at pity sex. That was her last attempt to be a good ruler. That was her last. That was her last try. That was her. I agree. It was her trying to be the good ruler, but also if it worked out into petty sex, she was definitely into that.
She was definitely trying to see if there was some P-dub going on, probably, and apparently there is not, because it's that whole, hey, you're my aunt thing, and I don't want to keep it in the family at this point, you know?
And she's like, I'm a Targaryen. That's what we do.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was waiting for. I was waiting for her to tell him, like, no, bro, it's cool. We got this. We're good here. We're good.
Like, this is it's a family tradition.
And Super joins us in the chat room, as well as Self-Rescuing Princess, with the Me Sandy comment, says she knows about the meme.
So Sandy.
So if you guys go to facebook.com/groups/all things nerd podcast, we drop gifts that we see and memes that we see over there. And one of the memes is what the Me Sandy thing is. And once you see that meme, that's all you see.
You will never unsee it.
Masandi's name. So
I tried. And then you brought it back up tonight, and I'm like, "Up, there it is. That's back. Got
now,
it."
here's the funny thing. This was prior to the torching of things that happened in this episode. Before it got hot in the episode.
The torching of everything. Yeah.
The
Gathering of s'mores.
What I wrote as Dany got turned down and she went and sat on her rock throne is the Mad Queen is emerging, because that's clearly where it was going. Tyrion tries to plead for not killing everyone. He lets her know that if the bells ring, call off the attack because the city has surrendered. And
there's a whole plan. There's hey, look, if the bells ring, please stop killing everybody. We're just gonna stop. Like, we don't need to kill all these people. Please don't kill all these people. Tyrion deserves to be on that throne at this point. He's the only one that's actually had the better interests of the people in mind since day one. Tyrion
I don't. I agree. Tyrion, on a family factor, he wants his family to be safe. He wants people to be safe. But Jon is trusting. He's okay. So Jon's falling in the same trap that Ned fell into, where he was being trusting.
Yeah, which doesn't work. That ends up with you beheaded.
Anybody else?
Fair enough.
I think
please must continue. I want to hear the rest of your argument. Yeah.
I think we saw the shift, the break in between where Ned ended his teaching and Jon started actually learning on his own, because he's already been betrayed once. He already trusted too many people in the Night's Watch, and they ended up
more than once. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they ended up killing him, and he learned heavily from that. He got brought back.
That's right. They literally killed him.
Exactly. So that's not a lesson that even the biggest idiot in Westeros, and even though we already established very long ago that he knows nothing.
Dolores had already died. Yeah.
He knows now. He's that trusting people to a certain point will get you so far, and then not trusting them when they obviously make decisions that are terrible for everyone. That's the point where you need to start trusting yourself. And hopefully he's going to diverge from where Ned left and where Ned headed straight towards the freaking gallows.
My opinion, which I've said and which Jon himself has said, I don't want it. I don't think he wants it. He does not. He has the best claim for that throne. He does not want it. He does not.
He wants it now.
Anything.
He wants it now. After this episode.
He
wants it now.
After
this episode is the one place where I could see him saying, maybe I should take it.
Yeah.
Possibly. I think he might not want it still, but he definitely, more than he doesn't want it, he does not want Daenerys to have it.
He doesn't want to see what happened, and he doesn't want that to continue. So
it's like Thor not wanting Loki to rule.
Exactly.
Well, we saw the game plan of Cersei with cannon fodder allowed into the city, and then they meet up with Davos at the camp, and then you jump over to the Hound and Arya, and Arya doesn't pull any punches when she comes up to the soldiers and is just like, "I'm here to kill Cersei." Like,
I don't care what spinoffs they have planned. I want the Arya and Hound spinoff. That's what I want.
Right. That would be amazing.
I could literally watch that on a daily basis. Make it a soap opera.
Binge that for 5 seasons.
Give me 5 episodes a week, and I will watch that all week long.
Absolutely.
And the second close runner-up is Tormund and Ghost stories.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys are too big of fans of Tormund. Tormund's a dick.
Them solving some freaking Scooby-Doo mysteries up north of the wall.
Exactly. It's Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. That's exactly what they're doing.
Arya as Velma. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, God.
It's a whole new level.
Go snacks.
Jeez, guys, I'm gonna stab him. So good.
That's how they do the pulling of the mask. Tormund cuts their head off and then pulls the mask off.
Right? And Linda Cardellini would actually be a good older Arya.
So Tyrion gets his plan in place of Davos being the greatest smuggler in Westeros to help get Jaime out of there. He goes up to the... We get our jokative moment of the episode, and that's Tyrion trying to speak Valyrian, and basically
so badly done in such a funny way.
He's the guy that goes to TJ that's trying to ask where the bathroom is or how to get some one more cerveza and just asking.
Donde está la biblioteca?
Yeah.
I love the bathroom. Can you tell me where I love the bathroom? I love the bathroom. What am I saying?
Donde está la madre? Where's your mother? I want to eat your mother. Comida tu madre.
Where is the tacos? Please tell me where is the tacos.
Polyfuse has the comment of the night.
Yeah.
Comment of the night.
Scooby snacks
go well with Giant's breast milk. Oh,
damn.
I think we should end the show on that one right there. Yeah.
We got a lot more to talk about here. So he gets in there.
Yeah, you need to watch this because you need to read that.
Tyrion gets in there to talk to Jaime, and asks how he got caught, which the Golden Hand gave him away. And I love his thought of you didn't think to take it off. You're the only one with.
It's like a recent episode of Lucifer where they're like, oh, they hit somebody with a golden infused gun. Yeah, no, we know who that is. The Golden Hand turns out not that common.
Well, we get the foreshadowing of this episode. Tyrion gives an escape plan to Jaime, which seals his fate to go and save Cersei. And he asks Jaime.
Can I rant on this for a minute? The whole Jaime going to save Cersei thing. It does not fit his character. It does not do justice to the writing for that man. Doesn't do justice for the acting of that man. The fact that he goes back to save her is upsetting to me. I don't get it, and I don't like it.
He does.
I think I do. And it has nothing to do with her as a person. It has everything to do with him coming to terms with what he's done over his life and him feeling that I have been a horrible person, even though I started on this redemption path. I don't feel worthy of it. And
that's why that goes to his line last week to Brienne is I too am a hateful person.
Yeah, she's hateful, so am I. And
I am also hateful.
It's we deserve each other. That's it.
But it feels out of nowhere to me. Like, we know he was a bad guy. The entire point of that character is that his redemption arc.
Yeah.
Well, no, he did. He explains it in the talk to Tyrion. He started leaning back into what Cersei has done all this time, and she always finds a way, and that's what he told Tyrion. He's like, she's gonna win. Look, he's
yes.
And that was
He's
it. Wasn't
absolutely
so much
right.
going back to save her. It was like, holy crap, I'm going to the winning. I did what I said I was going to do. I fought for the living. And now I don't want to be getting killed by Bronn or somebody.
But
I'm
I
going
will
back
forever think that his entire redemption arc is invalidated by this dumb bullshit at the end.
I agree.
Oh, it was. And that's not it's him coming to terms with
It's cheating us.
This is the person that I want. Well, it's cheating us, but it's also cheating himself, and it's also sealing the argument on what type of person he really was. He was the type of person that was equally honorable and equally opportunistic.
Yeah. And Polyfuse says it's just proof love makes you do stupid shit. And that's, that goes all the way back to Bran. He did it for love.
See the love.
Every single thing he did for love. Every stupid mistake he made, he did for love. Bran said it, and that's
true.
Yeah, and not just love of humanity or it's love for a very specific person.
He also says he will go down as a hero in the war against.
I'm gonna add to that, and I'm gonna say right now, he's still gonna be the one that ends up killing her next episode.
She's dead.
Yeah, he's never going to be known as except a king, Queenslayer.
Unless they showed her in the trailer for next episode.
We don't know if they're dead. I mean, how many people did we see that
the entire keep fell on them?
They're dead.
The entire keep fell on them.
Okay, well, we'll see, because I mean, you're seeing buildings falling, like you're seeing a tower falling
You
on
think if
Arya.
a crypt collapses on you,
Arya,
you're not going to die.
Just saying.
I honestly think the next episode is going to be the resolution Danny John. I think the Cersei Lannister outside of Tyrion is done. So it's going to be all focused on that. It's the last episode. I don't think they're going to focus on. I think that story's done. But we'll find out.
It has to be,
right.
but I'm
we
pissed.
will find out.
I'm pissed. The younger brother is supposed to kill her. Tyrion is supposed to be the one that kills her. I'm sad that Jamie.
No, it was just that a brother was supposed to be the one. You know,
I am sad that Jamie leading her to a crypt is what actually killed her.
Well,
It
Tyrion
feels
told him to go that
shitty
way,
payoff.
so Tyrion told him to go that way. So technically,
It's a shitty payoff. No,
Don't try to weasel that in there.
right? It is a shitty payoff.
I agree.
If we don't see their actual dead bodies, this entire series ended shitty. Just saying. I want to see her body.
I needed her stabbed by somebody.
Oh,
I didn't need
yes.
it.
We're obviously not gonna get that shit from Arya.
It was
I
terrible.
want to see somebody do it.
We'll get to that. We haven't even gotten there yet. We just jumped the shark.
I know,
on that
but
one.
I'm just so mad.
But yeah, I mean, this whole there's one thing about this whole scene between Jamie and Tyrion, and it was at the end that heartfelt last line from Tyrion, and I was like, and the Emmy goes to Peter Dinklage based off of just that little bit.
I think that was the one point where I actually broke into our writers' chat and said, "Oh my god, this scene." Let me look up what I said. I said something along.
I think you said Jamie and Tyrion. I don't think you went.
Oh god damn, Jamie and Tyrion. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but that scene, like I cried.
Spoil it. If you're watching, what is there to spoil? We've already given the spoiler alert.
Well, I didn't know who had seen it yet, but that scene, I cried. That brother's scene, I was like, oh my
They're
god.
saying no, here's the thing. They're saying if she died that way, Kristlyn says so mad at the way she died, should have been slow and painful. If she died that way, it may have been. She could be like under the terrible film with Nick Cage in the Twin Towers.
Every
where slow
film
death.
Nick Cage has ever been in is terrible. What are you talking about?
Quit trying to sugarcoat everything and put a silver lining. We want a Cersei held up dead in front of everybody, in front of the keep.
So everybody gets prepared. We got Euron and the Gold Company, all a watchful eye, getting prepared. Hand and Arya are in the city. Jaime's in the city. Jon waits outside with Tyrion and Davos. Smug smile on Cersei's face. And then the cannon fodder plan comes into effect where they're like, let's shut the doors, and Jaime's stuck. What'd you guys think about the whole setup?
Well, he was wandering through the crowd with a gold hand. It's not like anybody's going to recognize him.
Well, that's the thing. So
he did go, soldier.
Exactly. He did go soldier. So what it should have been when they did the cameo for Aaron Rodgers, it should have been that soldier that didn't see where to actually, because in real life, it just doesn't see where he's supposed to throw the ball. So,
really?
Did you think those soldiers were
That's why he has the least amount of interceptions per season? Come on now. Highest ever quarterback rating? Come on.
Did you think those soldiers at some point were going to recognize, hey, that's a guy who got a gold hand like 5 years ago? Is that one of our bosses? I'm not sure.
Yeah. It was chaos. Nobody would see what was going on during that time. So, he runs away. And then we get the epicness. We get this is what I tweeted out. Screw the honey badger. Drogon don't care. Drogon came in like a freaking beast. She did exactly the only way that you could win this battle. You come straight down the center of the city, not the keep, but the center of the city to come outwards where the scorpions aren't focusing on, and basically took the Gold Company up the back end. I mean, they dropped the soap. It's just what
Gold
happened.
Company did nothing.
She took the anti-air out, man. That's what she did.
The only thing the Gold Company did this entire episode was look worried. That's it.
Yeah, like I said. Go ahead, Aaron.
The Gold Company looked good, and they looked terrified, and they died. That was their whole. They were supposed to be
so hard.
I know they were supposed to be the MacGuffin for Cersei. They were supposed to be the crutch that she leaned on, as were the Scorpions. And by making finally, for Christ's sake, she actually used a dragon like you're supposed to use a dragon. She finally learned how to dodge. She finally learned that you don't have to drive straight at your target in order to freaking kill it. I mean, all of these things that
here is something that I thought this entire episode. One dragon is so much more than no dragons.
Exactly.
It's so much. You're going to wreck everybody. Like her taking that dragon, just wrecking their entire. They didn't have anything to do.
Polyfuse in the chat room brings up a good point, though. It's how much it's going to cost in overtime the Union wages to dig their bodies out of the castle rubble. So she just burned them all.
I know. We tried to figure out what they were going to do with bodies after the last episode, and it turns out they just burned them all.
Yep.
It wasn't that big a deal. Just that many people lined up against you. As it turns out, a dragon takes care of all that. You don't have to worry.
And the thing too, Drogon came in hard, came in fast, and just messed everybody up. Took out the Iron Fleet.
Just ruined the entire everything.
Yeah, like exactly. Like you have the dragon, you have the firepower. Unleash utter chaos with it, and that's what she did.
It's like having long range interballistic missiles when the other person doesn't. You're just going to win. There's not a question. You're just going to win.
It's like Aaron said. It's just when you use the right proper thing. But I love. Okay, so this is the one thing I tweeted out as well, and I was like, "Is Cersei like? She thinks she's in The Hobbit, because while everything's going down, she's like, we just need one good shot." And I'm like, this isn't Smog that you're going.
Yeah, but she was Lord of the Rings.
and
it took, what, 6 to bring down Rhaegal?
Was
it 6 of them?
It was like 4, I think. But
it was it was a shit ton.
I think I've said something literally near this. She had lost 2 dragons. Turns out 1 dragon, all the dragons you need.
Well, I mean, you got 3 dragons. You got a badass dragon. He's supposed to be the badass of all badass dragons. He's expected to do a little bit more with the other 2 do. So the other 2 like runs.
They took down a dragon with 6 shots. So you have to realize too that Rhaegal was weak and injured from that last fight. So apparently 6 shots to take out a dragon that's not fully.
And it wasn't looking either. Dany wins. The Lannister army drops their weapons. She's up there looking over the victory. The bells go off. Surrender is done. It's time to stop. But she put on those Dolce and Gabbana outfit. She put on her killing outfit because what I thought was she was going straight at Cersei to kill Cersei, but she starts torching the city. Now, I have.
She should have.
Yeah.
This is where I started getting freaking fuming here.
I'm the same way.
That was some bullshit.
Yep.
Like, you're looking at her. Well, first of all, the bell starts ringing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple things going through her. Like, one, I know Tyrion's doing something right now to go behind my back. He's doing this. This is Tyrion's play right here. My dominance is coming down. And the whole time, they're doing like the whole back and forth. Like, she's staring through, Cersei's staring down. The thought was, just go straight in at them. Not zigzag from the end of the wall all the way to the damn keep. That's just ridiculous.
They kept showing the whole city being shot with fire and then the Red Keep. And I kept on waiting for the dragon to shoot the Red Keep with fire.
What made me mad about this wasn't so much that I already wrote, the emerging of the Mad Queen was coming. The apple didn't fall far from the tree at this point. She is her father's daughter at this point. What bugged me about it was that everybody followed suit that was on her side. Like Grey Worm, full on, like, let's just kill, we're going. And Tyrion, Davos, and Jon are the only ones that are like, Jon's screaming at people, stop. And even Grey Worm's looking at him like, oh, well.
The troops started throwing down their swords. They were ready to, hey, thank God this is all over. We don't have to go through it. And then she goes up and starts killing people. And then all of a sudden, Grey Worm throws his damn javelin, his lance, hits a guy, and then all hell breaks loose again. And Jon is reluctantly killing people because they're charging him. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be a dumbass and just sit there and take a sword if someone's charging. He's taking out who's charging them, and that's it.
So I do agree with that. Jon doesn't actually want to kill people, but he kills whoever comes up to him.
So
exactly.
the other
Exactly.
thing too, that you know, it's what you notice. It's all of his men. It's all the people that came from the north that just started charging in right after Grey Worm. So that Jon wasn't there. I mean, he was at the wall. He was there, but he was at the wall. So he he knows what happened, but doesn't know the full story. And then that goes back to that whole time thing. You know, that whole
No, Jon knows the whole story. He's just
but
participate in all of it.
He does, but the sense of where you have the Northerners just start attacking everybody, it's because the North remembers. So I think there's it could be like a foreshadowing thing, but maybe or not. But it's just like, hey, we're finally here. We're people that
He is absolutely going to do it if your North remembers.
Our family, part of our brothers, are right in front of us. Let's just start killing too, because the North remembered.
Here's the thing that I thought when it happened, and I didn't think about it until afterwards. I thought Dany wanted her revenge on Cersei, and she was going after Cersei, but then she starts burning everything in sight. Who knows who is the rightful king? Who's amongst the crowd of people? Tyrion and Jon are down there. I think she started burning everything in sight because she wanted to take out Tyrion and Jon so nobody knew anymore.
That's possible.
But no, I don't think that was her intention was, oh, they're down there. Because before she starts setting flame to the city, you can see there's just pure like hatred and fury in her eyes. So that is just her becoming unhinged and just going nuts. There's no thought process there as to strategy. It is, I am going to burn this town down.
I disagree. I disagree with the idea that it was unhinged. Only because earlier when she was talking with Jon before the battle even commenced, when she tried to get him to tell her that she was more than just a queen to him and that he loved her, he told her, no, I view you as a queen. That's what it is. And it was like, okay, well, I have no love in this country. It's going to be fear then. And she took that and she ran with it. And she's making an example out of King's Landing in order to bring all of the other kingdoms to heel.
Oh, there was pure rage in her eyes, man. There was rage.
It was rage. Yeah, I'm not saying she's not angry, but it was a very calculated decision on her part in order to.
I want there to be nothing.
All of the other kingdoms in line, she's going to make an example out of King's Landing, and she's going to burn all those people, and she's going to rule by fear. She's not going to be loved, and she's come to terms with that. So.
Sorry. and to kind of go with that too, it's the fact that, you know, this essentially is her original home. Her ancestors built this. And to see what's become, maybe she just wanted to cleanse it all with fire and just start over to where, like, hey, I let some of you guys live because that's my mercy. And that goes back to when she's talking with Tyrion back on the Throne of Dragonstone. Mercy is my strength.
Zane in there that says it mirrored Grey Worm's anger. It was anger, not a message. She's a crazy targ, and I get that absolutely. So,
she's come to a point where like I said, she's lost just about everything, and because she's lost the one of the few people that she brought from where she grew up, and the betrayal of Varys and the betrayal that she feels by Jon by telling everybody that he's the true heir to the Iron Throne. She's no longer the person that wants to be loved by her people. She's the one that feels that she has the agenda that will make everything right. And it's like you said, Bearded, it's not about mercy for the people who are there right now. It's about mercy for the future generations. So she is burning whatever is there down to ash and rebuilding it for the future, not right now. So she's no longer thinking about what's going to happen after this. She's just thinking about what she can do at the moment and what she's going to be able to leave for people to rebuild eventually.
We're on to Euron and Jaime. Euron basically getting it to Jaime. I thought he killed him. I got really pissed because I thought Euron killed Jaime. But what pissed me off about that scene was Yara didn't get her freaking revenge.
That's what. This is infuriation part 2. I was just like, this is bullshit. Yara's not even gonna get her moment for revenge. One, she's taking over, the Iron Hills, and she doesn't even get to come in at the end of the day to just cut his freaking throat off. It's bullshit. And then he's gonna be the one that's, I killed Jaime Lannister. Bitch, I hope you didn't. I hope Jaime comes out top and says, yeah, he didn't get me. I'm good. Tyrion, let's walk off into the sunset.
I know, that's the only reason that I'm hoping he survived. Just so that legacy doesn't go through. You're the man that killed Jaime Lannister. No. Forget about all that. Nope, not happening. Dude, that slime bag doesn't get to win. And even in the smallest part, no.
We get to Hand and Arya. The Hound tells Arya, "Hey, you need to leave. Let the vengeance go. Look at me. This is where I am because I've had vengeance my whole life. Do you want to look like me?" Which, we know Arya can change faces, but nobody wants to look like the Hound. So she thanks him, and we get Clegane Bowl. And what were the thoughts?
Before that, there was a couple different things. Like, one, the fact that she called him by his name was one thing. I was like, oh, that's a whole new level. Here we go.
Yeah.
But then 2, it was like, we've had this badass Arya Stark the entire time, and we're gonna get do you really want to end up like me? And that completely rewrites her path and everything she's become. That's bullshit. Like, this is ridiculous.
Not necessarily rewriting her path, though. It's like, hey, I'm going here to die. Like, I'm old enough. I've done things, and revenge is the only thing on my mind this entire thing. There's still going to be plenty of people to kill, but you know what? Live your life. Go out and live your life. And we'll talk about later on in the episode who she has.
She became a runner.
I don't think it was so much as revenge is all that I've had in my life. It's that revenge was all he had left at that point. He went through all of his, not necessarily a redemption arc, because I don't think he turned into a hero at all. He definitely turned into an anti-hero, or at the most. But revenge was the only thing that he had left on his plate. He'd been through all of his trials with Beric. He had been through the war in the north at the Battle of Winterfell, and he saw the only thing that came between him and his fear of fire and death and not being able to be the person that he wanted to be was Arya. That was the only thing that got him off of that wall when Beric said, yeah, you don't think you'll be able to beat death? Well, tell that to her. Mm-hmm. And that was the only thing that got him to move. So when faced with, I'm going to go die now, this is my battle with my brother, I know that this is not going to end with me walking out of here. I've lived this long. You still have choices in front of you that can change the outcome of your life. So go do that. And Arya recognized that. She recognized that it was not only a reality that she had to come to terms with. It was a reality that someone else had already walked through that she didn't have to. And she took that to heart. And I thought that was amazing that she went from just being that person that was like cold and calculating, and this is the outcome that I want, and this is the person that I have to kill in order for that outcome to become a reality. She went from that to just the same way that she went from him being just the Hound to him being Sandor Clegane, the person who was behind that moniker. And that was a really a quick revelation, but at the same time, a revelation that's been a long time coming. And I thought that was a good character development for her.
Well, and don't forget what was the last thing she said to him before she left? That was a thank you.
Yeah,
I don't think there was ever a time where a Hound ever was thanked in any type of meaningful manner, and you could see the reaction that he had with that as well. So it was a very good way to end that connection with them too and stuff, giving them that one moment of, hey, civility, if you want to call it that. And he recognized it, which was awesome. I thought that was a good send-off for the two.
Yeah, not even civility, but actual caring enough, because no one's ever called him Sandor. I don't think that I can't remember a time in the entire series that anyone has ever called him anything but the Hound. And he's always been that person who got burned by his brother and was the second banana to the Mountain. So yeah, that was a really amazing bit of closure for her to give him at the end of his life.
Absolutely.
A couple good comments were made. Polyfuse said, I think him actually showing her compassion made her wake up and see her future. And then we've got that Kristlyn wants Team Arya to kill Dany, so she still wants Arya on that to kill some type of queen. If it's not going to be Cersei,
I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we had Clegane Bowl. What do you guys think? I was not happy. I guess I was happy with the conclusion, but I wasn't. I don't know. It
was a roller coaster, man. Like at first I was excited, then I was happy, and then I was like, "This is bullshit." And then
especially
I was happy
when he went to the eyes, that really started pissing me off because I was like, "If this happens again."
I thought we were getting the Viper again. I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, really, this is how we're gonna end it. And then the way it ended with him just going over, I'm like, really? That's like the weakest cop out we could have got out of that storyline.
I thought that it was the only way it could have ended. I really did.
Them both going over the edge. Them both.
Not necessarily them both going over the way that they did, but both of their lives were going to end in fire. Sandor Clegane's, because that's the way that the Hound was born, and that's the way that the Hound was going to go out, and the Mountains, because that's the way that he started his little brother on that path of vengeance, and that was the way that that both of them were going to end in fire. I knew that from the first season when you found out their backstory and you found out why the little brother hated the older brother so much, and that was the way that their lives were going to intertwine at the end. And I thought possibly that I was crossing my fingers that Grey Worm was going to get involved in the fight and Sandor was going to survive, but I thought it was poetic at least, and not necessarily the greatest ending, but
and to go with that, I don't mind the fact that they both go down in flames. That I don't have a problem with. I guess it comes to the point where we got all these things happening, and these main characters who we're believing are dead, and we're not getting a clean death. Like, obviously, yes, we know they're falling from the top of the tower, they're going to die in the fire. We know that, but I want to see a death.
I mean, if the Hound lands on top of the mountain, he might survive.
Bounce back up and come back and land on top. Possible.
I think it might have been possible if they hadn't landed in the dragon.
In the fire?
Yeah. If they hadn't have landed in the fire, there would have been a possibility that he would have possibly come through, at least to live for a little while. But between the dragon fire that they landed in and the fact that Daenerys turned that entire city literally to ash.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? The way he was taking swords and freaking knives to the head and shit. All you had to do was ride him down like he was a freaking space shuttle coming back in from Earth.
That's what I was saying.
Space.
Yeah.
And there you go, man.
Yeah, Politics says the only way to kill the mountain is to burn him to ashes.
It's going to be the mountain standing up in the middle of rubble and just walking off while everyone else is dead.
Right? The mountain gets the Iron Throne.
Oh no, it's gonna be his fist coming out of the rubble and stuff, some kind of like superhero crap, and that's Game of Thrones season 9.
No, the end of the series is gonna be the mountain coming out and then Mike Myers walking up, and it's gonna be Mountain versus Mike Myers.
Somebody once told me.
Oh my gosh.
And no, not Austin Power Mike Myers, Halloween Mike Myers.
Yeah, Halloween Michael Myers.
So, yeah, so We get Clegane Bowl. That ends the way it ends. The best part about it for the Clegane Bowl for me was the way that the Maester died. I mean, when the Mount was just like, "Don't you talk to me," just like threw him.
It was
and his head cracked on the rock like an egg.
Yes, it was clean. It was short. It was quick. It was brutal. It was everything that I wanted. For instance, Cersei's death to be. But yeah, because I can't say enough about it. Don't worry.
We're getting there, sir. We're almost there.
We're almost there. Jaime reunites with Cersei, and then dies, but nope, he still survives. He's surviving that gut shot for quite a while. Yeah,
2 of them,
and
one to either side too, man.
They have a nice little conversation. He tells her that he has a way out for her and everything like that. So, yeah, I mean,
and then he doesn't.
Yeah, we get Arya getting trampled, and then
can I say something about this real quick though?
Mm-hmm.
The whole the cutbacks between the Mountain stomping the crap out of the Hound,
and then Arya get trampled. Yeah,
Arya getting stomped by the crowd. And that was one of the most beautiful pieces of cinematography that I have seen in a long time.
My fear with them cutting back and forth was I was like, they are so intertwined that when one of them dies, the other one's going to die. That was my fear.
I had a fear of too, but
same here.
Well, and they show that. They make it look that way because then after the Hound and the Mountain fall, we get the smoke and dark. And then Arya's there laying down. All of a sudden, she's like, and all of a sudden, then the dragon goes through and she jerks up. It's like, wow, they really two of them have been connected. It's ridiculous how much that storyline paralleled each other.
Yeah, and it was beautiful.
Oh, it was. It was a beautiful scene the way they're doing it. But I had flashbacks to the fight at Winterfell where she's like sneaking through the library. I'm like, come on, you better not do it. You better not do it. You know, like tugging on my heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mind freak over there with PTSD this episode. Look at him.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I mean, and then the Arya trying to save people so valiantly, and just for nothing. There's no hope. And you see that she tries and saves these people. It fails. Jaime and Cersei get trapped in the crypts. The plan doesn't work, and then the crypts fall on them. So, you guys think, who is it that thinks?
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers right there. Look at him. Boom, soldier.
Did they say where he's at in the freaking scene?
No.
It's a faraway shot. He's one of those guys standing in line.
The one thing I love when I heard about Aaron Rodgers being in this episode, they talked about the previous cameos that have been in it. What I didn't know was the cameo that happened with Ed Sheeran went over so poorly that there is a story told later in one of the episodes where there's Lannister soldiers talking about a specific soldier getting his face burned off by dragons. That is Ed Sheeran's character. Yeah,
yes,
that's Ed Sheeran's character, and so I love that they went back and did that.
They fully retconned.
Yeah. So,
pretty amazing.
Yeah. So you guys didn't like the way that Cersei potentially died. You're hoping that she's still alive, just because.
I'm hoping she's still alive because I want to see a beautiful death by her. Go ahead, Sonic.
It would be amazing.
No, I was about to say, because we were just getting done talking about the scene before where Aryan's trying to save people and stuff, and then she almost has an entire tower fall on her, right? That's why I'm saying I don't know if she is dead yet, because she obviously
tower
survived.
didn't fall on her. They actually showed like each chamber coming down. 100%.
And then everything went cloudy, and you don't know what happened until the next scene where she starts coughing and everything. So at that point, she could have got smashed, and you had no idea about it. I think there's a potential that there's still a chance that they're around to, and it'll probably be like the first 5 minutes of the movie of the final episode. It'll be quick and done.
That's
because you are right.
But
it is seriously possible.
It's seriously possible. It is possible, but at this point, with what they need conclusion, with what we had finish up with the episode, who's going to kill her? You know it's not going to be Jaime. You know Tyrion's not going to do it.
It's always been Arya. Well, until
Arya's being Gandalf right now, man.
No, it's going to be Tyrion. He's going to fight. He's going to go there because he knows that Jaime lied to him. Jaime set the whole thing up. He's going to go over there because he knows exactly where they're going to be, expecting to be. He's going to find them. He's going to pull her out. And to save face in front of Daenerys, he is going to kill her in front of Dany.
No, I think Tyrion's fully on side with Jon at this point. It's going to be a battle of Dany and Grey Worm and Drogon against Jon, Tyrion, unless Tyrion's absolute in fear, but Jon, Tyrion, Davos, and the rest of the Starks.
I don't know. I can see that. I can see it happening because Tyrion knows the exit plan. So if they did survive, or if Cersei survived, and she finds her way out to that dinghy, then there's a possibility that Tyrion will track her, and Tyrion will follow her, and Tyrion will end up killing her. Not for Daenerys' sake, because I don't know if his allegiances are lying with her anymore, considering what she did. But
it's definitely not after that.
Following his path, because like he said to Jaime in the earlier part of the episode, Jaime was the only one that did not treat him like a monster. And because of that, he might take the lifetime of abuse that she inflicted on him out on her. And I think that would be a beautiful culmination to their relationship.
So I just want to let you know that the chat room was completely on my side, because Clydel, thank you for joining in the chat, says, I thought the same thing with the dragon in the last episode. I was wrong. Thought that it wasn't dead. Polyfuse says, it's too funny. They want a gory, horrible death for her so bad they can't accept they're buried under the castle rubble. LOL. And then James,
give us gore. Give us her being slaughtered in front of everybody. We've been waiting too long to not get this.
And then James joins in the chat and says, they're dead, guys. Come on.
I mean, there's a good possibility that they're both buried. Jaime dies, and she goes cannibal for however long she needs to try to survive. Come on. It's totally possible.
I know that you listen and you watch every week. You be here next week because she is not dead yet. She will be getting a community death in front of everybody.
She's dead. Enough said.
No,
I think she's dead. Unless Jaime guarded her with his body.
No, he guarded her with the golden hand.
Golden hand.
Well, shattered all the way. Broke fucking every floor of the Red Keep above her.
Polyfuse says she's a pancake.
He's totally pulling a Hulk right now and holding the building up with his golden hand. I got this.
I've seen Roger Rabbit where Christopher Lloyd gets flattened by a steamroller and then blows himself back up all of a sudden. I'm just saying things happen.
Oh God. Okay,
I am, to be honest, I am completely accepting of the fact that she's dead. I want her to be dead. If she dies like this, I don't really care.
It doesn't bother me for her to die this. I just wanted to make sure she died in the series, but it doesn't bother me for her to die this way because she dies in utter fear. She comes to a realization that I've lost. She starts crying. I don't want my child to die. She
exactly.
She is what she has never tried to be the entire series, and she becomes this scared little girl at the end, and I think that is a great death for her.
And I can agree with that, and I can concede on that. What it comes down to is the fact that she's buried in the rubble. We're not going to see it, and I want to see a dead Cersei.
You might see because
if she's dead, flat pancake, then I want to see a flattened pancake on TV. That's all I want to see.
Well, yeah, Tyrion knows where they would have gone, so he's gonna go check the Red Keep. He's gonna go look for his family and see if they made it out. So you may see dead, but either they paid her to make sure that she was in the next episode as a dead body, like they paid Jorah and Lyanna and all them, or you're just gonna see one golden hand sticking out of the rubble, and Tyrion's just gonna grab it and cry over the golden hand or something.
Or that gives Tyrion a marker so he can just go ahead and pee all over the pancake like it's syrup. I mean,
maybe. It'd be
that would be awesome. Could you imagine that? Tyrion just peeing on the golden hand and moving on. There you go.
He wouldn't. But The couple Clytel says, however, if she is dead, it's lazy writing. I agree. Okay, I get that point. And James says, do you think their attempt at humanizing her worked? No, I don't think it humanized her, but I
No.
think it gave us what we wanted. We wanted her to be a scared person all of a sudden because she had made everybody like this before.
Well, not only that, but at that point, she had literally lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Her throne, her family, the power she had become nothing. She was below zero at that point.
Exactly. That was actually the direction that I was going with it before you even said anything. That being reduced to that, because you saw her literally walk away from the city burning. You saw her walk away from, you saw her maester get killed in front of her. You saw the only bodyguard that she had left after the Hound killed all the rest of them literally say, you know what, I'm not listening to you anymore. I'm not staying by your side. And she walked and skulked by the Hound. And then when she met up with Jaime, that was the last brick in her house to fall. And everything else, it was just trash at that point.
Well, and it goes on.
Left.
And it goes on even before that too. Like when she's standing up, then all of a sudden you start to see the one little tear start to come off of her eyelash, and all of a sudden it's streaming. It's like at that point she knows she lost, and that's all she thinks about. I lost. I need to get out of here. And then everything else happens with the staircase, the Meister, with the Klagenbowl, and then she knows, like, I'm done. I need to find a way out. And then she finds Jaime, and it's like a relief, like, okay, maybe I haven't lost everything yet. And then she realizes, no, I really have. And that's what made it even better right there.
Exactly. Once they got to the bottom of the Red Keep where all the dragon skulls were, she knew. As soon as she saw that passageway that he was trying to go to covered in rubble, she was like, I'm going to die down here.
Hey, didn't you notice, though, at the very top, though, there was light going through there? I think they could have slid her skinny butt up there, and then someone could have decapitated her.
No.
Come on. I'm pulling a mind freak here. I agree with Bearded Master where I want to see some gore. I mean, this woman has done so much this entire series that the way she goes out is having a building fall on her. That
she gave us Missandei's head last week. Give us
hers. But here's the thing: it's not only a building falling on her; it's the building that she held the utmost trust in that fell on her. The one that never has been taken down. Red Keep has never fallen. And what does it do? It falls on her.
I will be satisfied if the building killed her. If Tyrion finds her and the Iron Throne's what's fallen down and landed on her.
Okay, I go with that.
And impaled her. That'd be awesome.
Or if not that, we tie each arm and leg and let the four horses go their directions. I want to see arms and legs ripped off. I want to see death.
I mean, I just wanted to see the death. I didn't want to see brutality. But okay,
brutality
take it to a whole new level.
It didn't need to be. It didn't need to be gory. It needed to be personal.
Correct.
And a building falling on someone is about as impersonal as you can get. I don't mind the imagery, like you said, Wes. Mest. It's beautiful that the one building that she other than oh my God, what's the I can't remember the Lannister's house name. Casterly Rock. Other than Casterly Rock, it is the one building that she has ever had any sort of.
You mean Bronze House?
No, it's Highguard.
Maybe now.
He's Highguard.
Well, maybe now, yeah.
No, there are no Lannisters left other than Tyrion, and Tyrion
who promised Highgarden to Bronze.
Yeah, I know, but he doesn't want anything to do with Casterly Rock anymore. So maybe he'll give that to him. Who knows? We could see next episode. Maybe we'll never see again.
Come on, you guys are trying to make this sound like it's real writing or some kind of a. Come on, let's.
All right.
Let's just see some hack and slash.
Last scene, I was so lost and like what's going on because so Arya walks out amongst all the charred bodies. Hence, what was being talked about by Polyfuse. It's Pompeii all of a sudden now in King's Landing, and there's this one white horse just chilling
out of nowhere.
It was like.
Not only out of nowhere, it was in a spot that there was just flames.
Yeah.
Like the dragon just came through there.
So
all I could think was that line from freaking Revelation, behold a pale horse, and on her road, death. And that's what we see, because Arya is going forward to do something amazing. We've already seen her do amazing things over the course of this, but there's no way that George R. R. Martin or the writers of the HBO series would have let her survive that if she wasn't going forward to do something totally badass. And either it's going to be finishing the job on Cersei if she survives, which probably not, but what I'm hoping is that she is going to stand side by side with Jon to confront Daenerys and make her answer for the unbelievable amount of carnage that she caused in this episode.
James brings up a really good point about the horse. I didn't even think about this. Did Bran warg into the horse to bring it?
Ooh,
I didn't even.
That's a good call. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because he could totally do that.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely could. Even from all the way north in Winterfell, he could absolutely have. Maybe that's what he was doing the entire time that he was
Staring off into the side there.
Exactly. While he was letting all of the freaking Ironborn die for him, that's what he was doing, going forward into the future to make sure that Arya made it out of there alive. That's a good idea, man. Good call, James.
Yeah.
And Chaka Boo joins us in the chat room and says the mountain is cinders, goes to the wind, and says that Dany is pregnant and she'll die, so a new life will come to this world. I can see that.
I'm gonna throw something out there because I think we brought it up, but I don't know how in depth we went into it. Now that King's Landing and the Red Keep is burned, go back to season 2 and she's in the House of the Undying when it looked like it was snow. But what if it's not snow, but it's ash?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I mean, matching imagery is a thing that they've done a lot throughout the series. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
everyone thought it was snow and the Night King. Well, then with everything just burnt, it's ash.
All I know is when I saw the white horse, all that went in my head, like I said earlier, was Gandalf. It was like on the third day, at the end of the, I'll arrive, and
look
so
to the east.
Yeah, so
it wasn't totally white though. There was a lot of blood on it. If you didn't notice that,
it had some blood. I mean,
it wasn't Gandalf. It was Rick Grimes. Come on.
Yeah, no, and that was, I was like, is it Ned's spirit? But this also, if it's not Bran warging into it, leads back to the theory that I had, where with the Night King gone, now the children of the forest are no longer have to stay in hiding. So maybe it's nature coming about with the children of the forest coming and saving Arya. Then you get Lady Nymeria back into this fight. I don't know. It's a shot in the dark. It's a hot take. It's a terrible, terrible hot take.
Kind of, yeah. But that would be a very George R. R. Martin thing to do, because he wouldn't introduce such a huge portion of the lore into it without having them play some part in the future. So you can definitely see how that would be possible. I mean, once they eliminated the problem with the North, which would be the Night King, that would allow the predecessors and the nature of the North to flourish. So it's possible.
Yeah, Chaka says that they still believe that that Tyrion is a Targaryen, that Dany will try to execute him by fire next episode, but he won't burn. Which you know what, that could be how. I mean,
I would be ecstatic.
I'm not gonna lie. I may lose my shit and scream like a girl as extra as Dany.
Seriously, me too.
So
now we can also spin this and just sit there and have the world's worst ending, as far as it's been a 8-year commercial for Godzilla, and Godzilla comes out and kills the dragon and everything's right with the world.
You know what? HBO's already screwed us over once with the finale, like Sopranos. They better not do it again with Game of Thrones.
I know, where it just fades to black. But no,
it's going to show the throne, and there's just going to be like 3 people standing in front of it, and then it goes to black, so you never know who actually sits on it.
Or do rock, paper, scissors.
That wouldn't be a bittersweet ending, so it's not going to happen.
My friends and I were actually talking about this earlier, where Gendry is up in the north making armor out of dragon glass, hopefully, or something. And what if he armored Drogon?
Yeah.
Would that be Mechagodzilla? I think that would be Mechagodzilla.
Drogon doesn't need anything else, so I don't know. So what do you think? Because they didn't change anything in the opening this week. They've got to show King's Landing just demolished next week on the opener?
I don't even want to. They just need to show the entire entry just be fire, and the sword comes across, and it's like Game of Thrones.
Maybe that's how you'll get Cersei. Maybe that's how you'll get Cersei's body is in the little thing because they go through the crypt where the dragon skull is. Maybe they'll show like a little dead body in there.
You see the gold hand just sitting on
gold hand sticking out and a skull with a crown on it.
Oh,
well, because
she hasn't a crown on. She hasn't had a crown on like all season.
No, she
had
had
that Bobby cut.
That's
what? She had the Beatles haircut.
She had one on last weekend when she took Miss Andy's head.
Well, it ends on.
She did.
Because it always ends on. Sorry. It always ends on the opener with the Lannister sigil coming down over the Iron Throne. So, if they show the Iron Throne, are they going to drop the Targaryen sigil over it, or are they just going to have it blank?
Well, they're going to keep updating to what's going on. They're going to have them showing like.
It's the last time they could show this intro, so what are they going to do?
It's gonna be the Iron Throne, like leaning against some rubble.
How about they don't do an intro and they just get right to it? Damn it! Let's get that last episode done. Don't give me 3 minutes of an intro.
What they've done with the intros. I like those intros.
It's the last time we're gonna get it. They better give us something big.
And by the way, didn't they add like on the last intro? I thought they added the freaking crossbows or the ballasts up on top because
I looked for that, but I did not see them. I looked for that, but I did not see them.
No, they did. They did on the intro. They did. They added all the ballasts on top of the castle walls, and they had the boats with them and stuff. So they did add that to this opening.
Yeah, they've always updated because this is the only season where they've actually updated the intro every single episode. So They've showed the progression of the White Walkers. They've showed the destruction of Hardhome. They showed all of that. Everything that happened over the course of the previous episode, they've showed. So I'm certain that they're going to show King's Landing just reduced to freaking nothing.
People
and it's going to
waving at the screen with marshmallows. Hey guys,
with their Lannister s'mores.
Yeah, that's what Polyfuse says. He says, you want to see what King's Landing looks like? Just look at a picture of Hiroshima or Nagasaki circa 1945.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much. They're going to have little tiny walls with freaking just people, shadows burned into them. Yeah, they're going to show it.
Well,
I mean, between all the dragon fire and all the wildfire, that place, there's, inside and out.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I didn't even bring up the wildfire, but yeah. Guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. I know we went late tonight. We had to get a little bit more focused at the end there. So we greatly appreciate Icy Zoro being on the cast, and I hope he's having a wonderful nap right now. Love you, man. We'll see. See you later. Next week's cast is.
You guys can expect it 2 hours next week. I bet.
Well, next week's cast is a celebration cast because it's the very last episode, and we won't be able to do this again for Game of Thrones until the prequel, whatever that ends up being, and if it's any good, comes out. So with that, we'll be having a cast where we will be drinking some liquids. Don't know exactly how it's going to work yet. The way we were thinking about doing it is every time whoever ends up ruling or on the Iron Throne, their name is mentioned. That's when some liquid's taken, but there may not be an Iron Throne to end up on, so we'll have to figure that out. But join us next week. We're all going to die.
Valar Morghulis, baby. Valar Morghulis.
How often do we say Valar Morghulis on the cast?
Hey, you know what? I will be saying it a lot last week because if my theory comes to pass, I'm going to be so damn happy.
Does anybody want to change their thinking? Well, I never asked you, Ron. Who do you think? Who did you originally think was going to end up on the Iron Throne?
Who did I think, or who did I hope?
Well, who did you think before the events of today?
Who I think and who I hope are two different people.
Well,
say it.
Who do you think?
Hope.
No hope.
I hope, for Christ's sake, I really hope that it's Arya. I really hope that.
No, we said think, not hope. Think.
Oh, damn it! I think that it's gonna be Jon Snow.
Okay,
really
so we're all on the
you
same.
go.
We're all on the same
All right.
page. Has anybody changed their opinion? Or we all still John?
No,
Not
my
after
opinion hasn't changed. My opinion hasn't changed since he was resurrected. As soon as he was resurrected, I was like, he's gonna be the guy.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm starting to see a little step stool next to that damn throne.
Why? Because it's on a stack of pile of rubble, or
So the Tyrion can get up on it.
Chrislin still says John as well. So, but yeah, that's it for this cast this week. If you guys had any thoughts, if you're checking this out on YouTube, drop us comments. Let us know what your thoughts were on the stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us, and thank you for following. If you enjoyed this, if you want to come back for any other casts we do every Wednesday. Not this Wednesday. It's going to be Thursday this week, but we do the Smack Talk cast, which is our wrestling cast, and we have All Things Nerd every Friday as well. And then after Game of Thrones is done, we'll move into Fear the Walking Dead in June. If you want to join us on Mondays for that, so thank you for coming and talking with us and supporting us. We greatly appreciate everybody that's here. Let's talk about where you can follow everybody outside of this cast if you want to chit chat about Game of Thrones or anything geeky or nerdy. Ron, where can people follow you outside of here?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at DosNewportKid, and I am also on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, also at DosNewportKid.
And what about you, Mind Freak?
You guys can follow me at Twitter at MindFreakMLG. And you can also follow me right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/BTBMindFreak. Stream PC, like I said tonight, is coming along nicely. It's almost done, so get ready for high octane streaming.
And what about you, Masonic Vader?
You can follow me on Twitter, Masonic Vader, and Masonic Vader 71 on the PlayStation Network.
Bearded Master, where can people follow you?
You can find me at a Bearded Master on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me here on Wednesday or Thursday nights talking wrestling.
Cool. And like I was saying before, so if you want to follow this cast on Twitter at All Nerd Podcast, or the entire site is at Malice Corp on Twitter. Malice-corp.com is the main website. If you want to chit chat with us anytime, facebook.com/groups/All Things Nerd Podcast. Come over there. Join us in the group. We'll bring you right in. We talk about all different types of stuff, drop memes and gifs, and just have some fun and chit chat over there. And that's always. If you would like to talk to me anytime, you can hit me up on Twitter at @mest_MaliceCorp or on Instagram at mest5150. If you have an insight or a thought about Game of Thrones for the next week before the last episode, whatever, make sure when you're on Twitter or any social media platform you're on, you're hashtagging it TVTalksGOT so we can find it when we're looking. So yeah, thank you guys so much. You guys keep nerding on, and good Lord, stay away from the fire.
Or bring marshmallows.
Lannister s'mores, baby. Lannister s'mores.